All right, hello everyone, and welcome to Genshin Impact, version 4.1, Phase 1 Banner Analysis. This is kind of a rebranding of what I was doing for the test runs. I don't really see the value in doing all of the test runs because a lot of these are ones that some of you have seen multiple times already. But I will give you a quick rundown on all of the characters that we've seen previously. So let's start with the 4 stars. So the 4 stars include Fischl, Xingqiu, and Diona. Actually, those are the three. But one of the good things about these characters is each one of these is very easy to build early on in the game. So if you're starting off or if you're already in Fontaine, doesn't matter. You'll be able to build all three of them probably with very little problems. So a quick few notes as for each one. Official for one, I see when I go to other people's streams when they're doing the floor 12 of the Spiral Abyss. I see Fischl frequently as same as with Xingqiu, maybe a little bit more Xingqiu than Fischl, um, but Fischl is a very easy character to build. Everything that you need is right there in Mondstadt. Even the weekly boss that she needs to for her talents is the wolf. So you'll be, like I said, it's a fairly easy build. So you won't be able to you won't have very many problems. Electro hypostasis, I feel, is the easiest boss that we have in Genshin Impact. Um, Now, as far as the recommended weapons and recommended artifacts, the ones I'm putting down are the ones that are kind of more of the meta recommended weapons and artifacts. A crit bow and golden troop, which is a new set that we have in Fontaine. And I'll quickly show you on the map where it is. It is this domain right over here, so you won't have to go too far into Fontaine if you are still looking to increase your, to you're looking to build up elsewhere. So earlier in the story. Okay. No. Anyway, back to this. So anyway, like I said, Fischl fairly easy to build, and uh, if you go for crit and golden troop, you're basically gonna be looking for her to be an off-field a DPS where you basically summon Oz, you switch to somebody else. So if you're going for that, your constellations for Fischl probably are going to be close to our maximum. You can do what I do, which is go for kind of more of a physical DPS build. Um, I do a 4-piece Pale Flame, and I have the Rust Bow, which is a very uh, physical oriented weapon. So, but I do have an Electro Goblet, so I'm kind of splitting a little bit of the difference between having her go all the way physical and not completely nerfing odds. So if you want to do something close to what the meta wants for Fischl, and you don't want to go to Fontaine too early, I think the other best option is to go for a 2-piece Thundering Fury and a 2-piece of anything that gives you 18% attack, and that will probably be just fine until you get to Fontaine. But if you want to just rush over into Fontaine, get the Golden Troop, I don't think there's a big problem with that, particularly since the that domain is so close to the entrance to that nation. So anyway, moving along to Xingqiu. Xingqiu, again, fairly a common character seen in floor 12 runs. So if you build him, you're building a very useful character. Um, his recommended artifact set pretty much is the Emblem of Severed Fate because of his ER requirements. So might as well put that ER to good use. Now, the good thing is that you don't have to go to Inazuma anymore to grind Emblem of Severed Fate because you can just get it through the strong boxes. So if you haven't made it to Inazuma, you can still get the Emblem of Severed Fate set. So I would just simply go with that. Um, his recommended weapons tend to be either crit or ER, depending on what you need. If you need an ER weapon to get his ER to where it needs to be, then that's what you want to do. If you have met your ER needs otherwise, then you can go for a crit weapon. Whatever works for you. Everything else is pretty easy. The Oceanid is probably one of the harder earlier bosses, but there are some good videos on YouTube that will help you get through it. If you're now, as for Diona, Diona is another character you can build really early. Cryohypostasis is again fairly easy. Her talent requirement from the weekly bosses comes from a boss that you will only unlock once you get close to completing chapter 1. So it isn't. It's a little bit further out than the wolf that you need for the other two. But that said, she's a pretty useful character if you use her correctly. I think an energy recharge bow is probably the way to go for her as far as the weapon. Noblesse would be what I would recommend for an artifact set. I think the trial used Maiden's Beloved, which will give her more healing bonus, but I think Noblesse is just overall better. But it's up to you. Nothing else is particularly hard. Now, as for Hu is a character that is the 5-star rerun. Um, the Ascension boss is the Primo Geovishap. So I always recommend if you're going to grind that one, make sure you put a portable teleporter near the entrance because it is a little bit far away from the closest regular teleport point. Plus, you want to look down into its domain to make sure it's in pyro mode, which means it will drop the right ascension gem more often. If it is not in pyro mode, just go away and come back again. If you can beat it in whatever mode it's in, just know that the more times you do it and with non-pyro, that's going to be less of the correct ascension gem you're going to get, which means you'll need to get that from somewhere else, either from previously farming it or using the Dust of Azoth to convert other gems to the correct one. Aside from that, everything else that she needs is pretty easy. Same talent requirement for the weekly domains as Diona. Her weapon is the Staff of Homa, which is a crit damage weapon. So I always recommend if you don't have that particular weapon, just go for another weapon that has the same substat because that will make it so that you don't have to redo your artifact set to get to rebalance the with the new weapon. So and her recommended artifact set is 100% the Crimson Wave. I don't see that there's any reason to suggest otherwise. So, and I'll talk a little bit more about her a little later on in the stream. So, well, here's what we came for. We came to talk about Neuuvillette. So let's go ahead and start it up. I did read up a little bit on his talents and his weapon to just so that you're not having to hear me trying to read everything and make sense of everything because these talent descriptions are starting to become more like they're not quite Eisenstein film theory yet, but they're getting close. Okay, normal attack. Regular normal attack does a maximum of 3 attacks. I'm highlighting that because that's a little bit less than what we normally see, even from Catalyst users. Now, the charged attacks kind of do a little. kind of work differently depending on what happens. So, charged attack, empowerment, legal evaluation. While charging up, he gathers the power of water, forming it into a seal of arbitration, and so forth and so forth. Basically, he needs to charge up his charged attack, and if he completes it, it goes to equitable judgment. If he doesn't, it just goes to that regular charged attack below. That's kind of what that part says. So the the incomplete charged attack consumes a fixed amount of stamina to attack opponents with a rupturing blast of water, dealing AoE hydro damage. And I think it's in there somewhere. Maybe it's not. Okay, the charged attack stamina cost is 50. Okay. So, but equitable judgment, which is what you get when it's fully charged, unleashes surging torrents, dealing continuous AoE damage all opponents in a straight line area in front of him. Equitable judgment will not consume any stamina, lasts for 3 seconds. If Neuuvillette's HP is above 50%, he'll continuously lose HP while using this attack. The plunging attack is normal, so I'm not going to go over that. But I will say that you look at the HP loss is 8% of his maximum HP for every 5 seconds. Now remember, we just said that was a 3-second duration. So that 8% maximum HP is going to get tapped maximum of 6 times. So 8% times 6 is a lot of HP. But once he's down to 50%, my way of understanding that is he doesn't lose more than that. So, but he will be probably down to close to 50%, even if he's at full, because 8 times 6 is 48. That's a lot of HP. So, the rest of it's kind of, you can see that the charged attack scales off of his maximum HP. We're going to see a lot of things that scale off his maximum HP. His talent. Okay, so elemental skill summons a raging waterfall. They'll deal AoE hydro damage to opponents in front of him based on his maximum HP. After hitting an opponent, the skill will generate 3 source water droplets near that opponent. At certain intervals, when Raging Waterfall descends, Spirit Breath Thorn will descend that will pierce opponents, doing Pneuma-aligned hydro damage. Pneuma-aligned was kind of not what I wanted to see, really, because we've had so many of them already. So, but anyway, the skill damage does 20.58% based on his maximum HP. This is on level 8, so it probably goes up. It probably depends on based on what the actual talent level is. But yeah, yep. This one didn't seem too hard to understand. And neither did this one. Unleashes waves, they'll deal AoE hydro damage based on his maximum HP. After a short interval, 2 waterfalls will descend and deal hydro damage in somewhat smaller AoE and generate 6 source water droplets within the area in front. I believe the source water droplets, just like the travelers, will only be relevant to him, but not 100%. That's one of the things I wanted to check. So the skill damage and the waterfall damage are all based on maximum HP. And then his passive talents, the first one, when a party member triggers Vaporized, Frozen, or Electrocharged, Bloom, Hydro Swirl, or Hydro Crystallize, those are every single elemental reaction that relates to Hydro. Any of that, the reaction on opponent's 1 stack of past Draconic Glories will be granted to Neuuvillette for 30 seconds, maximum 3 stacks. Past Draconic Glories cause charged attack equitable judgment to deal more more damage. Stacks created by each kind of elemental reaction exist independently. So that means you can have a lot of stacks if you're doing a lot of different elemental. Then the second one, for each 1% of Neuuvillette's current HP greater than 30%, you'll gain 0.6% hydro damage bonus up to a maximum of 30%. So the healthier he is, the more hydro damage. And then this one just basically says he allows your party to swim faster underwater. I don't really think that's a big deal. So I didn't look at his constellations, although I should have. So C1, when Neuuvillette takes the field, he'll obtain 1 stack of past draconic glories from passive talent. Must first unlock that. I don't see why you wouldn't have unlocked it unless he's very low level, in which case he shouldn't be C1. So I'm a big fan. I'm a big believer that you should, for 5-star characters, you should level them all the way up. Make sure that they're a character that you're going to use frequently before you even consider going for constellation. So, I mean, unless you have unlimited money, in which case go for it. But anyway, yeah. Must first additionally interrupt. Okay, so it gives him interruption resistance while using the charged attack, which is probably. I'm not gonna worry too much about past C2 because you're starting to get into big time money. In which case, you're probably not debating whether you're going to go for it. Passive talent heir to Ancient Seas authorities will be enhanced. Each stack of past draconic glories will increase the crit damage of the charged attack equitable judgment by 14%. Maximum increase that can be achieved this race 42. Of course, you have to unlock that first. So yeah, basically, these constellations won't do you any good unless you've leveled him up to where that is unlocked, but that unlocks pretty early, so I don't know that that's a big deal. So they have one of the new artifact sets on him. That looks to be a reasonable one to go for because that boosts his normal and charged attack on the 2-piece set. 4-piece set increases his crit rate when his HP goes up and down, which it will. So this is a pretty good. I think this is a reasonable 4-piece without going into a lot of detail. And now here's his weapon, Tomb of Eternal Flow. It is a crit damage weapon. It has a lot of crit damage, 80.4 at level 80, which means I believe it gets more level 90. But anyway, it's 80.4 here. Yeah, it doesn't have the last star filter. That's not even its final form. So HP is increased by a certain amount, which is probably based on his max. When current HP increases or decreases, the charged attack damage will be increased by a certain amount based on the refinement for 4 seconds maximum. Effect can be triggered once every 0.3 seconds when the character has 3 stacks, or a third stack duration refreshes. 8 energy will be restored. This energy restoration effect can be triggered once every 2 seconds. So yeah, basically this is a pretty good set. This is a pretty good weapon for him, mostly because it increases his HP, also increases his charged attack damage pretty much at will, since that's triggered based on his HP going up and going down, which it will. One thing I forgot to check, I usually do. So his energy cost is 70, which is kind of in the middle. It's a little bit high, but it's probably not where you'll need to be worried a whole lot about. It is something to think about when you're building him. But let's see. How much energy did they give him? Gave him a little bit, but not a lot. You can see that he's got massive amount of crit damage. As usual, the test run kind of punts on the crit rate. So his hydro damage bonus is super high. The resistance is based on his current team. So, all right, enough talking. Let's just get this done. So I want to try to do the charged attack both. Not sure I'm getting. There we go. Boy, that thing took a long time to charge. Didn't last too long. Let's try that again. Watch how long it takes that charge. Man, that is a long time. That is a long time. It has to basically just. Now he can reposition while he's doing it. See though, you really just got to put Yao on the field, so you kind of have to move him around just to keep him from getting interrupted. Did a pretty good job of. One of the things I wanted to see was how well he would. Let's do that again. I probably should do his other. There you go. Okay, so Fischl can't pick up the source water drop. I don't think he was able to pick them up either. Let's try that again. That was. You have to be in a certain mode to pick them up.
An oversight on my part.
Never mind that I'm not doing things completely correctly because I'm mostly just, whenever I'm doing a test run, I'm doing it more to learn, and rather than to do things exactly the way things are supposed to. Am I supposed to? Okay, I have to be in this mode. Let's try that. I want to see that. I want to try it one more time, just to make sure I'm getting a good feel for it. Although we probably should start. Probably should think about healing a little bit. Maybe just a little bit more.
Don't be scared.
There we go. Now we can do it.
Bow your head. Let the mighty be humbled.
That's. It's fun.
Animal hypostasis simulation.
Silence.
That was kind of interesting. Should be able to really. Yeah, that really takes down the. That's just. I think I saw it. Okay, not bad. Not bad. I don't know. I don't know. I think I started to get the hang of it. I'm thinking back to when I started using Yanfei, and I remember I didn't quite get the hang of her yet right off the bat either. I did have a good sense that her kit was going to be a big thing. But so I think if I did it more, probably would be. I think if I spent more time with it, I probably would really be able to get it to work. But I don't know. I I think what I would like to do for as far as Neuuvillette is basically watch other streamers, see how well they handle him. I have no doubt that we're going to see a rerun for him later on in version 4. Um, there's no way that he's going to be just on this one banner the entire time. He'll probably only have one rerun. So I think that for now it's a pass for me, but I reserve the right to pull him later if I change my. But for now, it's going to be a pass. Hotel, generally speaking, I run too many healers to get the most value out of her since she has to be at lower than 50% to get the best use from her kit. I did do her trial run before I started recording. And I did a little bit better this time than I did previously. I'm trying to keep her in that lower than 50% range. But I still and I can definitely feel the difference. She becomes a lot more powerful, particularly with the staff of Homa, um, when she's lower than 50%. But I think, based on looking at everything I've seen today, I think that the hidden value of phase 1 is going to be this. It's going to be the weapons event because well, first of all, the staff of Homa is even if a 5-star pole arm DPS has a weapon that is signature to them. Most of them, the staff of Homa is either the second best or third best um, by most people's estimation. So, if you got the staff of Homa and you are looking for Tomb of Eternal Flow, you'd find a spot for it on your. And I think the reverse is true too, because I think if you're looking for the staff of Homa, you get the Tome of Eternal Flow, I think you'll find someone who's going to be able to. So, for that reason, given that if you run this weapon banner all the way to pity twice, you're guaranteed to get at least one of them at least once. I think that's kind of a this might be a weapon banner that might be worth considering. Um, Now, as for the 4-star ones, you can see that two of them are brand new. We've got an HP sword, Doc Hand's assistant. We've also got for whatever reason, we have an HP claymore, the portable power saw. I can see more value for the sword than the claymore based on the characters that we currently have. The Favonius Lance is a very, very good um, weapon for support characters with a pole arm. So if you have one of these, it will get used. If you have two of these, they'll probably both get used. The Favonius Codex, I think, is kind of one of the weaker weapons as far as the 4 stars on this banner, maybe even overall. I have two of these at full refinement, and I've never put one uh, weapons experience or into either one, and I don't think I ever will, because there's just so many other good choices. It's almost a question of why would you ever resort to using it. As for the bow, it is Fischl's signature weapon. It's one of the very few signature weapons for a 4-star character. Uh, Thinking back to what I said about Fischl earlier on, this one will benefit her more as a on-field DPS, kind of like what I normally go with. Um, but if you want to go with an uh, off-field DPS, this looks really cool, but it's not going to help you for an off-field, particularly because its stat is physical. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. For the uh, the banners. Anyway, hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you'll pull whatever whoever you want. Um, Make sure you leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Please consider subscribing to his channel and or following me on Twitch. I stream Genshin Impact twice a week. And leave a message below if you have any comments. Let me know everything that I got wrong because I get things wrong in the banner videos all the time. I am tired right now. It's been a very long day for me. Anyway, that's it for me. See you in the next video.